look fresh and new, like you're not tired from work and all this other stuff, and like you're still a kid inside, right? And go. What's up, y'all? This is your girl, the Mad Queen 88, and I'm coming at y'all with a vlog about my PC build. It seems like a lot of you guys were interested in how much it costed me to build this PC, and also what exactly I put in it. I went into it briefly at the beginning of my PC build video, but today I'm kind of just gonna go in and actually look at the items where I bought them. I have everything pulled up in my browser, but I'm also going to put my calculator, put the calculator right here in the corner, and I'm also gonna bring up my browser. So the very first thing that I purchased when I decided that I was going to build my very own PC is the motherboard, the MOBO, the connector of all the brain and the resources and functions and all that. This bad boy puts everything together so that it works. So I went with the Asus ATX DDR4 motherboard H170 Pro CSM. That's a lot to say. I went with this because I knew that I wanted to get an Intel processor, so I went with a motherboard that was an Intel chipset, so that I knew anything that I purchased that was Intel or anything that I purchased with Asus would go with this motherboard. It is a standard ATX, so it's the bigger motherboard. So the mini ATX are a lot smaller than this one, and this one, it was pretty big. DDR4 memory, DIMM slots, those are the slots for your RAM. You will need to make sure that whatever RAM you pick up is DDR4. I don't believe DDR3 or anything like that will fit into this. The max capacity is 64 gigabytes. So you can get 4 16 gig RAM chips, and it'll be able to accommodate that. 2 PCI Express slots. The PCI is where your graphics card goes, so I don't know if this means that I can put in another graphics card along with the one that I already have. I'm not really sure. And this ran me 9804, so let's put in 9804. The next thing I purchased was the Core i5 6500 Intel processor. It's running at 3.2 gigahertz. It is a quad core. I don't know what Skylake means, but it was kind of like a buzzword as I was researching, so I guess that's a good thing. If you guys know and want to correct me on anything, because I'm pretty sure people that come to watch this video are going to want to know the real deal, the real information. Please feel free to put that down in the comments, correct me or give me more information, because I also kind of want to know what I actually did to put this thing together. Skylake desktop processor, socket LGA 1151. This number is kind of important. If you're purchasing a motherboard, you need to make sure that the processor that you choose has the same socket number, LGA 1151 or whatever processor. So when I purchased my motherboard, I purchased this processor not knowing this, but fortunately, because it is a Intel chipset, I got lucky and I had the correct number, 1151. But it was stuck to purchase a motherboard and then you purchase a processor, or vice versa, and they don't have the same socket, because then you won't be able to use the processor. You have to return one of them to get the one that you need. So pay attention to the socket number and all this stuff. And this one came to 197. So let's add that to the calculator. 197. We're at 295. Alright, so the next thing that I was super excited. Damn, do y'all hear that? I live like right by the train tracks. I don't know if that picked up or not, but my bad, pardon that. The next thing I picked up was my Asus GeForce Dual GTX 1050 Ti 4GB dual fan edition DVI HDMI DP gaming graphics card. Why is that name so long? This, I mean, self-explanatory, everything that I just said. Is 4 gigabytes, it has a dual fan, and this bad boy is like, it's really big. Like, I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. I mean, it's like this. It was like this big. Yeah, it's like this big. It has 2 fans. So far, everything that I put together seems to be very quiet. So these fans aren't making a lot of noise. Classic and modern games at 1080p at 60 FPS. Plug and play design requires no PCIe power connectors. So that was kind of cool. When I was building my PC, I was looking, like I inserted it into the PCI slot, and I was like, okay, doesn't it need to like plug? Came with a plug for a graphics card for a GPU, and I was like, okay, where does it go? And then I finally read the manual, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't need it at all. So that's what's cool about this. It powers itself from the PCI slot. So for the Asus graphics card, I paid $159.99. That puts me at $455.03. The next thing I purchased was my RAM. I got 8 gigs initially. A few weeks later, I'll say a week later, I did end up going to get one more 8 gig chip of RAM, but I'm not going to calculate that into this. I'm just going to talk about the initial build that I had. As we were saying, on my motherboard, it was a DDR4. So are these RAM chips. I made sure to get DDR4. And they are 2133 megahertz. And when I went to go purchase the second set of 8 gigs of RAM, the lady at Fry's let me know that I need to make sure that the megahertz match up. So I had to come back here and see what I had, and sure enough, it was 2133 megahertz. So when you're purchasing more RAM, or if you're trying to upgrade or whatever, make sure that you know what you have so that you can make sure it's compatible and make sure you have the correct megahertz. But yeah, outside of that, RAM is just RAM. You know, you need it in order to do multiple things at one time. And for this, I paid $73.99. So let's add $73.99. That brings us up to $529 and 2 cents. So the next things that I bought the last 3 things just in bulk. I was like, let me just go ahead and get everything that I need. But the next thing is my tower. It's pretty cheap. It has a lot of like places for air to escape to keep your stuff cool. It doesn't have a fan built in, so which is why it's pretty much pretty cheap. It's only 27 bucks. It's an ATX mid tower, so from my experience, given that my motherboard was a standard ATX, it'll fit a standard ATX down to mini. With a lot of room. If you have a mini, I felt like I was pushing it a little with the standard ATX motherboard. Like it fit like exactly perfectly. There's no wiggle room. If it was an inch or half an inch bigger, it wouldn't fit. It's nothing special, but I like it. It has a on-off button, and it also has a reset button, which is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and tack in that $27.99, and that brings us to $557.01. Next is my hard drive. I wanted to get a SSD drive so bad, but that was like $100+ bucks for 275 gigabytes. So it's way more expensive in comparison to a regular hard drive, even though it's supposed to be faster. So I just opted to get a 1 terabyte Seagate hard drive, and that cost me $45.30. So there's really nothing special about it. I mean, it's just a regular internal hard drive. Spindle speed 7200, buffer 32. Don't know what any of this means really. SATA 600 interface. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just a hard drive. It stores all your stuff that belongs on the computer. So $45.30. That brings us to $602, and we only have one more item. So yeah, things look different. I had to switch up my settings because I didn't understand why the video was looking so crazy. I apologize for the beginning of the video looking so crazy. But let's just continue with the last thing that I picked up. And the last thing I picked up was my Cool Max 6600 watt 140 millimeter smart fan ATX power supply with single PCIe V600. I don't know much about power supplies. It's just a power supply. I mean, it has the plug here, it has a fan on it. It's not very loud. For the most part, everything is quiet in this PC build. And this, I rarely hear it. Sometimes I do, but it's not really loud when I do hear it. And this brings us up to $39.99. So $39.99. And the final total, the total for this PC build is $642.30. I think I did pretty good at picking out parts and staying at a decent budget. There were still other things that I needed to buy, like the operating system. I needed to get a new mouse and keyboard, and I needed to get a monitor. All that stuff I don't really consider part of a build because a lot of people already have that stuff. So if you're building a brand new PC and you already have a monitor and keyboard and mouse, then we don't need to add all that stuff in. So this is just the build itself. And yeah, so anyways, you guys, thank you for taking this PC building journey with me. I am so proud of myself and happy that I was able to do this and share it with you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you have taken the plunge and built your first PC. And so I mean, you can let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I don't think that I'll be building a PC anytime soon again, but I know I will probably be doing upgrades to the one that I've already built, so I'll keep you guys updated on that if you want to know more about that kind of stuff. Anyways, thanks for checking out the Mad Queen, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right, peace.